Okay. That was like $100. Then we got another 300 here. And then, oh yeah, you gotta add food. Yikes. I do like to eat, but I think I could cut out sushi and just start eating rice and beans. Obviously, we're gonna throw some top ramen in there. Oh, I can't forget, I gotta pay for my car, and there's no way I could possibly give up Netflix. But I think if I could pull all of this off, I could possibly retire at 78. Yes! According to this study by Fidelity, 48% of folks aged 40 to 50 are going to struggle to pay for normal essential expenses during retirement. I mean, right now, there's about 4 million people retiring a year. That's 11,000 plus people every single day. But things are changing. They're not going to be able to retire. They're going to have to work longer, change their financial planning, save more. They're going to have to work until they die. That shouldn't be you. So in this video, I'm going to show you how the 401k was created, why it's failing so many people, why pensions are dying, and what you can do to increase the chances of you being able to retire with plenty of money, not just enough. My name is Sean King, Infinite Banking Specialist, and today we're going to dive into what's next for your retirement. So I think the question you're probably thinking is, should Americans be panicking right now? Well, I would say let's maybe not panic just yet, but I think it's time we get prepared, because according to Social Security statistics, out of 100 people, only 5% of them are going to be financially secure at the age of retirement, which means 95% of all Americans are not going to be financially prepared for retirement, which sounds like something you could definitely panic over.
I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Down.
But if you're willing to take action, you can get prepared. There is time, but the numbers aren't looking so good, especially if you do the traditional method like the 401k. Check these out right here. 30 to 39, that would be all of our millennials. That's where I fall. They've got $38,400 on average in their 401ks. Holy crap, you guys are definitely not going to make it. But it's got to get better, right? How about Gen Xers? That's age 40 to 49, a whopping $93,400. That's not even enough for most families in this country to survive. And that's what their total balance is, which means that's supposed to cover them through all the years of retirement. Yeah, you see how we're starting to panic a little bit, because you know, if we retire at 65, well, you've probably got, let's call it 20 plus years. So you've got $93,400, but it's got to last you 20 plus years. It's got to get better. It's got to get better. So let's check out the older generations here, like the baby boomers, right? It's got to be good with the baby boomers. The baby boomers are coming in at a whopping $160,000. Not 160 a year, 160 as an average balance in their 401ks. But that's okay, right? Grandma and grandpa, they got us covered. The silent generation, yep, coming in at a whole $182,100.
As the cost of living continues to rise, many Americans are adopting a new retirement plan. Just keep working. Don't retire.
More than half of Americans say they would need at least $100,000 a year to be financially comfortable.
I would say these statistics should definitely wake you up a little bit, as a traditional way of saving for retirement is broken. So I got this really good book about this exact thing, and it was written by Ted Bennett. They call him the father of the 401k plan. But he outlines in this book some pretty big problems. He goes on to explain the burden that's placed on the working generation by paying for Social Security retirement. He said that Medicare benefits of retirees would be extremely difficult to bear. He also mentions this observation wasn't as a result of some great revelation he had. He said, "I'm a math major by training. The logic was just all in the numbers." And here's the numbers. If we go back to 1941, there were 41 workers making contributions into the Social Security system for every one person collecting benefits. Now, Let's fast forward to 1965. That number dropped to 4 individuals working for everyone collecting benefits. In 2013, there were 2.8 workers making contributions in the system for every person collecting. The Social Security Administration's 2016 annual report shows that ratio dropping to 2.3 for every working person collecting benefits. We're going the wrong way, folks. And because of that, there's not enough money to cover future benefits. Today is 2025. I didn't even get there. This is a major issue, and he's talking about that in this book. The father of the 401k saying the 401k doesn't work. I just read you the numbers, but a lot of you are probably thinking, like, where'd the 401k come from? Well, in 1978, it was created by Ted, and we'll talk about that in a second, to relieve the pressure on pension plans, defined benefit pension plans to be exact. And folks, a lot of you watching this probably don't even know what a pension plan is because you'll never have one. The only people that get pension plans right now, for the most part, are government employees and teachers. But right here, it says Ted Benna is commonly referred to as the father of the 401k because he created and gained IRS approval for the first 401k savings plan back in 1981. But it's interesting that Ted Benna, the father and founder of the 401k, has written several books, and this one, he tells you why the 401k is not a good place to put your money. Let me go ahead and just read you a little quote. He said, "I thought I'd seen it all. Over the past 12 years, I've examined almost every type of safe income investment in existence. I've studied utilities, municipal bonds, real estate investment trusts. I've researched MLPs, BDCs, Royal Trusts, dug into CDs, bank deposits. I've analyzed almost every well-known dividend-paying stock in America." He goes on to say, "And before that, I worked for 2 of the world's largest banks, Salomon Brothers and Citibank in London. So I must admit, when I discovered a secret high-yield account used by more than 4,000 banks, I was a little shocked. For example, Bank of America has $18.5 billion tucked away in these accounts. Citibank had $4.5 billion hidden in its own little secret accounts. And JP Morgan Chase, well, they concealed $9.8 billion in this type of account. They would put more of their money in these accounts if they could, but regulators restrict them from putting more than 25% of their Tier 1 capital into these accounts. How many of you want to know exactly what that account is? I know I certainly did, right? Because, I mean, if 401ks are failing, which we just saw the numbers, if pensions are just about gone, but yet he found this secret place where banks are stashing billions of dollars. Well, hold on. He gets into this just a little bit more. And he said, "This is the most underground income investment I've ever seen." At first, when I first learned this secret from my friend Tim several years ago, I was a little skeptical, but I knew Tim was a smart guy and I couldn't ignore it. Tim recommended an obscure book that explained the account in this strategy in more detail. How obscure, you may ask? Well, there's 136,450 books on Amazon for sale with the words real estate in the title. There were 65,137 books on Amazon with the word stock market in the title, but there were fewer than 15 books that covered this topic. I looked the book up that Tim recommended. Amazon didn't even have it in stock, but I was able to find a 10-year-old edition for a crisp $5. So one of the things in this book he did, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, he said he found a super safe, off the IRS grid account that can't go down in value, paid uninterrupted dividends and interest for over 100 plus years. He goes on to say, for 12 years, he studied just about every investment there was. But then he found this account and he found out that the biggest banks in the world are putting their Tier 1 capital into this. He then also goes on to the next page, calling it the Swiss Army knife of the financial industry. So much that he talks about how he couldn't find any information about this vehicle. There was only 15 books, and he had to find one that was 10 years old to learn this. And the father of the 401k goes on to talk about how in this vehicle you cannot lose your principal, and how the money is safeguarded, and not only that, how if you get sued, they can't come after this money. You can put unlimited amounts of money in it, avoid any reporting to the IRS. I mean, how many of you guys are absolutely loving this right now? Lastly, he says you have access to your money anytime without penalties or interest. I mean, gosh, how many of you guys want this? I know I would. And if you want to learn more about what this secret place is that he's talking about, this Swiss Army knife of the financial industry, go into my bio, go into the description, click the link. I talk about this all the time, so much so that all I have is a small ask for you. And that's to click that subscribe button. And while you're at it, there's a little bell. I'd love it if you just smash that bell for me. Just give it a little jab. And that'll notify you every time I put out new content, because you got to be thinking to yourself, what did the father of the 401k find? Why wasn't he just a proponent of the 401k? He created it, right? He should love the 401k, but he realized it was turned into something that he didn't want. But this was exactly what he was seeking. This is what all of you are seeking. This is what we all want. So, what are your choices now that we're coming to the end of this video? Well, you could work till you're 70, 75, maybe 80 years old, doing the traditional things. You could start, just going out there and doing a little side hustle, like maybe some OnlyFans. I mean, that may or may not work for you. I don't know what your stuff looks like, but I would say what you should maybe do is follow the big money. The banks, the wealthiest families throughout history, what have they done? They all did what Ted Benna just was talking about. They found a secret place for their money. They became their own banks, folks. That's what he's talking about. They did it, and all it involves is you changing one thing, where your money goes first, and then adding one step. Can you do that? Can you change one thing and add one step in your life? If you can take back control of your money. You can do exactly what Ted was talking about, and you can become your own bank. So, I find it funny that the father of the 401k talks about what I teach every day, which is the infinite banking concept, and the specially designed and engineered policies that we use to practice this concept. So you're probably wondering, how do I get started with this? Well, it's simple. Head down to the description section of this video and click that link. That'll take you to the homepage of my website, where you can watch a full overview, which will be extremely helpful on understanding the concept. After that, go ahead and book yourself a free cash consultation with my team and I, and we'll sit down. We'll answer all of your questions, and we'll discuss exactly what your goals are and how infinite banking can be the foundational piece to your legacy. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more financial insight, and check out some other super helpful videos on my channel. And as always, you guys, the information is free, but the knowledge is priceless. My name is Sean King, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.